Hello everyone and welcome back to Eat Sleep Brief. Today we're going to be covering a quick look at a new product. It's going to be a quick review and unboxing, as well as showing you guys how to assemble the new Cadlight PLS-50 V2 skimmer. So this skimmer has been out for a while. This is just a generation 2 of it. Obviously, as with generation 2 or version 2s, you can expect there to be upgrades. More efficient, better skimming, so on and so forth. So in this video, we're going to be covering again the unboxing, the quick look, as well as assembling. I really hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned for a great video. So here we have a quick rundown of everything. This is everything right out of the box. So obviously you're going to be greeted with the instruction manual. So you can see here, kind of giving you a rundown of everything that the skimmer consists of. We got a top cover, we have the collection cup, the skimmer body, of course, the venturi, which is what gets the air from the outside, the needle wheel pump they have here, the water outlet adjustment, I believe is, or actually no, the water outlet, and it's also adjustable from the bottom. I'll be showing you guys here in a little bit. You got the air pipe that comes from the venturi all the way to the silencer. And of course you have the silencer and then the inlet, which is where all the water is coming from. So here on the bottom, you can see here the dimensions. It does 160 gallons per hour, 24 volt. Actually, that's really good. 24 volts, 11 watts, so not too crazy consumption. You can see here the dimensions, tank volume. They recommend up to 33 gallons, and ideal water level 6.3 to 7.9 inches is kind of where you want to have it. So here in the back, you can see some features and benefits, so recommendations as far as maintenance, and that's pretty much all this manual consists of. Everything here is pretty straightforward, but we will give you guys here a brief rundown of everything, as well as my initial thoughts on it. So here, you still got the little foam pieces on the inside. I'm gonna have to rinse this. So here you have the main body of the skimmer. All in all, my first thoughts of the construction, very solid construction. This, you can tell, is made to last, nothing cheap at all. So far I am liking that from the skimmer itself. You have here the water level is kind of where you do want to run it, and this is where it's obviously recommended by them to get the optimum performance. One thing I really do like about this skimmer, a lot of smaller skimmers don't have. For you guys that run the bigger skimmers and the subs, this is nothing new for you. It's a standard. But this, you can control the water that comes into the pump. A lot of the skimmers out there, especially the ones I know I've been running, there's no way you can really do that, unless you had a DC pump to it, but then of course that gets expensive. So I love, right out of the box, this is more of your full-size skimmer, and you're obviously with a twist of it here. I'll make sure these guys are loose. You're able to adjust it as far as the water that's coming in. So you can see there, it's pretty much closed, and then as we open it, you can see there, it's fully open. Both of these bad boys here, and as well as I think even these guys. As well, these also help with the inlet of the water. As you can see, again, that's closed and that's open. So I do love the fact that you are able to adjust it. I'm pretty sure you can also adjust it by messing with the water line. But again, I haven't run it, so I'm not sure if that works or doesn't. But here we do have the silencer. Actually, I'm really digging the red on it. So you can see here, and this one goes to the venturi. And this, I don't see this at all in the, let's see, what is it? In the manual, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not see this in there. So if I had to say what I think this is for, it's a drain for the, if you want to hook this up to like a side collection cup on the side of your tank, I believe this is, you would remove this piece here, the plug, this would connect there, and then you can run it, to wherever you want to run it, as far as a separate collection cup. So I believe that's what that is there. This here is going to be your mount and how you adjust obviously the water level. So you can see you take out the screws, they're Phillips screws, and you can make the adjustment like so. And then this piece here would pretty much hang on the back of your tank. So I really like the way they mount it. It looks solid to me. I really have no complaints so far from the looks of it. But again, going back to the collection cup, very solid build, very smooth edges. I mean, clean, smooth edges is something I'm really liking. Another thing, I don't know if you guys caught, it does have a rubber ring here. So again, it's for a nice tight seal. And even when I'm putting it on there, you know, you can tell it's a solid seal on the collection cup. So I really have no complaints whatsoever currently. So that's pretty much how it fits right there. You can see it really is just a miniature size of everybody's full-size skimmer. Let me get that off so it doesn't fall again. But it's really neat how, you know, they were able to make something and just really, you know, make a smaller size of it. So that's that. So here we will see the, I believe it's 160 gallon per hour pump. So you can see the needle wheel in there. It's obviously specifically designed for skimming. And then you can see this bad boy here, and that's the venturi. That's where the air gets forced in there. It speeds up and makes a whole mess of bubbles go up into the skimmer. So what I do here as well, they kind of redesigned the bubble mechanism here, as well as the cone-shaped cup here towards the top, so it really forces the skimmate to come out of the tank. And one thing, I don't know if you guys realize yet, but a lot of people take for granted, and I know I don't, especially when you're doing maintenance on a skimmer. I think the part I hate with a lot of the equipment in my tank is when I have to disconnect the whole power setup. I really love stuff like this that does have an easy, quick disconnect. So anytime I do want to do maintenance on the pump, I don't need to take the whole thing apart. Not to mention, this thing seems like it has a whole mess of power as far as the length of the line here. So that's something really nice. Another thing I just realized, I don't know if you see it, you can actually mount this. Man, I wish even my Radion lights and everything, even the Jager power setup came with little mounts like that. I mean, look, isn't this so much easier to do? So we don't have to do double-sided tape or be doing all the crazy stuff we do or buying the extra brackets. Just design them to have these little things so we can just mount it on our tank. But I gotta give it to Cadlight. I really think they did a great job coming up with this V2 of this PLS-50 skimmer. Certainly they were thinking, you know, as us reefers do. I really got to give it to them for including this, and all in all, I'm pretty excited to get it installed on the tank. I probably won't have a video on how to install it, as it's very, very straightforward. The only thing that needs to be done, and I guess I'll briefly show you guys, let me take off here the cup, is you loosen these bad boys. You get yourself a Phillips screwdriver. Let me see. And then you would put one through. I guess I can do one on camera for you guys. So we do one. Oh, and you can see you actually have different positions. So if you need the skimmer to be lower, you'd use these two. If you need it to be higher, you would use these two. So again, they're really thinking outside of the box for all the different applications, and you know, really making it so it's a universal skimmer that really works on anything. I think a great way a great thing they did as far as nailing it is a small profile on this thing. It'll fit on a lot of nano tanks. It's really not that big. You guys can see there. So right now I am going to finger tighten it, but eventually you do want to use a tool to make sure you get that nice and snug. You can see here how you would adjust the height. Now, if you still having issues with this being too high, a recommendation I would do, I don't know if it's recommended by them, but take out the bottom one if you need more travel, and you would just use this one. I mean, I wouldn't have an issue holding it by just one screw. It's not like this thing's vibrating like crazy or anything. So if you really need the maximum travel and you only want to use one screw, I'm pretty sure you can get away with it. Just make sure it is nice and snug, and don't over tighten it, because from what I can see, these are actually plastic screws. So be sure not to over tighten it, because you can strip them, and you can see here you get a full range of adjustment. So what I will do right now, I will be assembling it here really quick for you guys, just to give you guys a quick rundown of how it's put together. And then, yeah, we'll pretty much end the video and give you guys my final thoughts. So here we go with as far as putting this skimmer together. So again, make sure you do get these screws in the back. Once you are done with the final position, kind of snug, and remember that is the water line you do want to stick with is right here. It's clearly marked. I believe you can leave that tape on Whether or not it'll fall off down the road, that's a different story. And then you can probably just mark it with a sharp razor. Just make a mark here. Obviously not too crazy so you don't, mess up the acrylic, but you can kind of mark it there. So as far as putting this bad boy together, it's pretty straightforward. What you do want to do, I recommend rinsing this whole thing in warm water so you can get any oils during the production off of it. So that's going to be the first recommendation I probably give you guys. But let's assume I've already rinsed it. What you would do is very simple. Put this guy in there, coming from the bottom. And depending on your tank setup, obviously this can't go like that because it may run into the back of your tank and this may cause excess vibration. So a way I'm gonna put in my tank, you can either run it like this sideways, or if you have room, run it like that, or pretty much any way but this way. Because if you run it here, I feel that this is gonna be making contact with the back of the tank and it may cause excess vibration. I haven't installed it, but just by looking at it, it sticks out farther than this part. I feel that's gonna be an issue with some tanks. So either run it like that, or like this, or like that is what I'd recommend. I'm probably gonna set it up like that in my tank, so we'll go ahead with that. So the next piece here is I'm gonna be putting on the collection cup. So this bad boy. Okay, let me make sure this is out of the way. I love the, let me show you guys, I really love the way the O-ring fits here on the top. Let me get the camera back a little bit so you guys can fully see this, but yeah, I really like the snug fit on the O-ring. I mean, it feels really snug. And then let me quickly reference the manual to make sure I'm doing everything correct. So from what I can see in the manual, this piece comes towards the back, and then we would install this bad boy into the venturi, which is right here. I really like the red they did. And this line would come up right about here. And I don't believe there is a right or wrong way of doing this. I mean, let me look at it real quick. Yeah, there isn't any arrows marked. So that being said, we're gonna kind of go like this. Okay. And then again, the water, or sorry, the air is collected from the very top. Now this separate piece, again, this is, I believe this is if you are gonna be draining this to a separate reservoir. I think that's what this is. I can't see it being used for anything else. And then the last piece here would be your cap. And that is literally all you need. After this, all you would do is go set it up in your tank, find a good location for it where the water level is consistent. Or if you do have an auto top off, just make sure it always maintains roughly what this tank needs to operate. But all in all here, this is kind of finalized. You may have to adjust the skimmer body. Remember, on the bottom of this skimmer, we do have the water inlet down there. So you may have to make some adjustments to it. But all in all, that's pretty much just gonna be fine tuning. And again, guys, I do recommend you rinsing this in warm water before you go set it up in your tank. But that's gonna be it, guys. We are gonna end this video here. Again, this was only an open box and kind of assembling it so you guys can see how it is. And if you guys can see, this is my hand. It's a pretty small footprint of a skimmer. I'm actually really excited to check it out. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. Again, this was a video on the PLS-50 Elite 2. Again, the second generation. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's it. Expect some future follow-up videos to showing you guys any tips I may have down the road. But that's gonna be it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comments box below. As always, thanks for watching. Happy reefing.